swooning for some jazz.
Let Nothemba Madumo serve you up some jazz and beyond.
On 702 and CapeTalk.
It is Jazz and Beyond on 702 and CapeTalk. This is where you come for the jazz and you stay for a good time with me, Nothemba. And a lot of the time here on our YouTube and Prime Media Plus channel, we host some very interesting guests, jazz musicians who vary in their contribution to this art form. And today we have one who plays the bass, because now the bass is one that normally, sits quietly in the background. But guess what? That's the instrument that actually holds the conversation intact. And our guest today is one who is one of our, great jazz players here in South Africa. And he's performed locally and internationally. He's also, found a lot of interest in the South African jazz bass sound. I think he's researched about it. Anyway, he'll tell us all about it. He's got an album out called The Line or Line. I'm talking about the one and only. I almost said Paul Hardcastle.
Oh, no.
Angus Hardcastle. That Hardcastle surname is very interesting, actually. Where's the lineage of that?
I think my family is Yorkshire, England. But no relation to Paul Hardcastle.
No. Angus, how are you?
I'm well, yeah.
Welcome to Jazz and Beyond.
And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I know it's been weeks. We've been having this conversation of having you here. And because you've got this amazing, very busy career, we found a moment, and I appreciate that. We get to know Angus a little bit better and more. And especially for those who don't know about you, just to get to know who Angus is. And I know you grew up in Cape Town and you moved to Johannesburg. Have you found yourself able to balance the two cities as to who Angus became when he got to Joburg, or who Angus was as he grew up in Cape Town?
Yeah, I think I moved here and then I quite quickly fell in love with Josie. It was actually, so I came here because I loved Carlo Mombelli. And I wanted to learn from him. And then, it didn't take long for me to become quite pro Josie, and then not actually really look forward too much to going back to Cape Town.
What is it about Josie, though?
Oh, the cheesy and common answer is the people. And but it holds true, I suppose, is it's such a wonderful vibe and the way people kind of engage, and you can meet someone today and either be best friends with them tomorrow or be working with them, or be in trouble with them or whatever it might be. I think that's that kind of spirit or the pace of that suits me as a person. And then I think I've got Cape Town structural issues make for a fairly, I think, what can be quite a slightly more toxic environment for a wide variety of people.
Explain that for those who don't know what Cape Town can be like.
I don't want to bag too hard.
No, don't bang. But just for reality's sake.
I think Cape Town, I guess the way I see it is the perfect apartheid creation. It's so structurally
a very separatist kind of community.
And obviously the way it's continued hasn't really helped politically, that is. So I think,
but hasn't the jazz community though broken some of those barriers in Cape Town?
I'd say for sure. But there still is a big separation between gigs in town and gigs out, in the flats and that kind of thing. And I think economically also, jazz musicians, it's no secret really that they get paid less per gig in Cape Town. even though, you know, probably Europeans have more money. Well, now that half the city is owned by Europeans. Yeah. So it's it's a funny conversation. Yeah. Where, and I think especially growing up as a white person in Cape Town, it's very easy to fall into the trap of a it's just this bubble, I suppose. And it is a bubble.
What I'm liking about it is that you as a white person saying it rather than you know, a black person from Cape Town saying it, where, you know, a lot of people, you know, believe that get over it, you know that attitude that no, the apartheid is gone, forget about it, when on the ground and in reality that structure still remains.
For sure, yeah. And you see it in Josie, you know, like
as well,
you know, with the way Soweto is built as well.
Of course.
And so, you know, but yeah, I'd just say it's particularly toxic there, I suppose. Or can be. There's beautiful spaces, there's beautiful people, and some of the most amazing players as well, and wonderful stuff going on always. But
I guess also, you know, with every situation, it's how you approach a situation and make it work for you, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, definitely.
Let's get into how many musicians say music was a calling. And I was born to do this. And whatever ways, you know, things came to them.
Yes.
What does Angus Hardcastle say?
I don't know. I've never thought of myself as particularly talented, I suppose, or anything. I always was like, at least with the people I've worked with, I've always thought, okay, that they can really like get it a bit faster than me in some ways, you know. You know, I don't have perfect pitch or like that kind of thing. But I always thought, like, you know, if I work hard enough and love this thing enough, I'll be able to get there. And that's kind of how I've gone about my career, was just like, okay, you know, let me try to keep up. And then I think maybe the only thing that I kind of naturally was pretty good at was maybe just technique. That came pretty naturally. But like musicality wise and really, my instinct for music really I've had to work on and you know, so but technique was also the thing that I could work on the most. So I spent a stupid amount of hours practicing and trying to get better.
Listen, Angus, you have there's something, you know, listening to your music, by the way, you've got this groove. And I don't know where it comes from. You know, I could say you were born black, but there is this groove you've got. And even just listening, you know, I imagine you even grooving to the groove yourself, you know, when you play your bass.
Yeah.
You did say that you came to Joburg because of Carlo Mombeli, an amazing bass musician. So the bass for you clearly said something about you.
Yeah, for sure. I fell into it, I suppose. My brother played drums and his best friend played guitar.
Yeah.
So I played bass. You know, it wasn't a choice, actually. It was my older brother as well. So he was like, no, you better. My first kind of teacher, I got into jazz. I fell in love with Charles Mingus, actually, initially. When I was quite young, like 12 or 13. I became obsessed. And then I wanted to learn how to play upright. So I went to the jazz workshop in Cape Town, and they put me in with Spencer Mbadu, who played with Winston Mankuku and Abdullah and you know, a legend for sure. In his he kind of introduced me to really how to groove and how to play. Mind you, not verbally. He was never like, this is how you do it. It was always like we just basically played together for most of the time, most of an hour or whatever. You know, obviously with learning how to read or whatever, there was some exchange of words. But most of the time, you'd just be sitting playing piano and singing. Like he loved singing like Killer Joe. Yeah. And he had this like, it's actually quite a beautiful voice in a funny way. But maybe most people might not agree with that. But yeah, he was an amazing musician. And yeah, so we spent a lot of time looking at upright together. But obviously he was mainly an electric player, or at least that's what he got booked for. But he grew up playing upright, kind of, I guess, similar to me in that way. His dad was taught him how to play. So yeah, basically I'd say that's where those foundations were built.
Okay.
And then, Carlo, I'd say, took that kind of and made it a lot more streamlined and focused. As in comparison to playing with Spencer or learning from Spencer, which was just like, whatever. Like we just did. It was kind of just fun most of the time. Carlo was like, for the first 3 or 4 years of us being together, very, very serious. Respect the instrument. Never like play unless you mean it. Essentially, that's a lot of his ethos, which I think is really beautiful.
It is.
It's every note must say something. He'd always tell the story of him meeting Carl Shepard for the first time. He's like an 18, 19-year-old kid. I think they were doing a recording with Zim, and they weren't recording at the time or whatever, and they just heard the most beautiful sounds coming from the piano room, and someone turned it on. Beautiful tone. Carl was just playing so beautifully to no one, not like, fiddling or whatever. It was just, and everyone in the room was like, no, this guy's got it. Like those little moments. But I'm less serious than Carlo, I would say, in a lot of ways. I like to be silly here and there. And
is that being silly or just being free?
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah. I think music can be not serious. Like when we were on the Dan Quarter show, like half the stuff we did was jokes. Like little musical jokes. And I think music can perform that function. It can be silly. It doesn't always have to be serious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that have fun.
Yeah. Surely.
So that your audience also has fun.
Surely.
Kind of thing. You can't always be serious.
Yeah. I don't think Carlo would say that either. But anyway, yeah. He does, yeah.
You've spoken a lot about the lineage of South African jazz, and especially in the jazz, with the bass. You've done some research on that.
Yes. So I wrote my master's on South African electric bass players from 1970 to 1994. And that was kind of trying to look at the first generation of bass players that had access to the electric bass from when they were young. That was kind of the idea, because it was only invented in the 50s and then really only imported en masse late 50s, early 60s. So if you wanted, basically that generation would have transitioned to electric bass. Your Joseph Makwela's and I think Tony Sayuli would have started on upright, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that kind of generation wouldn't have necessarily grown up with it in the same way that your Sipho Gumede and Fana Zulus and etc. They really had it from when they were kids. That's the idea, at least. Sorry, I'm over-explaining.
But so, what did you then finally conclude?
I suppose
out of that research.
Yeah, for me it was mainly about documenting, because I felt like this was. So a big piece of context was Joseph Makwela passed away, and then also in the middle of me doing my thesis, Spencer passed away, and basically there's some sense of urgency where this generation that was active in the 70s and 80s, or were the first electric bass players to really take the instrument to the next level in South Africa. that resource was going away. And obviously during apartheid, you know, a lot of the gigs were secret, or not secret, but illegal. Like they're not publicized. It's hard to find evidence of them having existed. Not a lot of, basically records were not kept in the same way. There's a lot of gray in that particular time.
You're actually bringing a very important point of that period.
Yeah.
Where probably some most amazing performances happened.
Yeah.
And unless you were there, there is no other, recording or reference to it, unless someone either talks about it or, and nothing, audio.
No, because we didn't have,
nothing.
Usually.
So
we have to record it now. It's kind of it was the idea, and then I did draw conclusions from there. On how the what you'd say the language, or I don't love that terminology, but the basically the music developed, and the ethos behind it as well. With Black consciousness and Pan Africanism as well was quite a big part of it. So looking at all that was but it was really, I was just trying to document something that I felt, information that I wanted personally, but that also I felt would be pertinent and important to the following generations of bass players and musicians.
Yeah, and because I mean, you did obviously, a lot of the bass players that also influenced you, or if you listened to. From, as you said, the Sipho Kumedes, the Fana Zulus, the Bagiti Kumalos,
exactly.
And Joseph Makwela, we've mentioned, not to mention as well, Spencer Mbadu rather, and Kalo Mombeli, who is a great inspiration to you. And these are amazing jazz players. Have you, in your music career, found any music that's written by these that you can say I want to do a version of Spencer Badu's music. It's available. It's unless it's an audio recording or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose. We do with my band, the Kopano Jazz Collective.
Yeah,
that's where most of those kind of interpretations happen, and I get to play around because we play a lot of gigs. So I get to play around with their basically the what do you call it, what's the term,
interpretation or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I haven't thought about doing an album like that. I suppose for me, I was trying to look at also really how they composed their bass lines, and also the feel behind their bass lines, and trying to replicate that myself rather than so reinterpret it in a new way. And to some extent to the modern ear. But so I think there's definitely lots of space. And a lot of this music, I think, is a bit underappreciated, particularly like Sakile, Spirits Rejoice, Teta, all these bands
which were very influential.
Hugely influential. And we don't really talk about, this is not to say that Beckham Seleko is not amazing, unbelievable, but we do, there's this high, he was also in Spirits Rejoice. There's more than just what he recorded overseas, and
with that note, in terms of the Kopano Collective, which you founded, you're referring to also just that all those individual musicians, in their own right, are just as important, rather than Angus Hardcastle, the leader of the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and that recognition is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well.
To be clear, also it's I'm not the leader of the band. I wouldn't say that for sure.
Okay.
Like,
If you say so.
Godfrey Mtambo and myself founded it together.
Yeah.
But it's very much the group decision making. There's no. I do manage the band as well, and Godfrey music directs. So we have those responsibilities, but we try to make every decision together is the idea.
Okay, that's out of the way. Now let's talk
sorry.
about
just to give all the guys the credit. What was the question? Sorry.
No, I was saying each individual musician as part of the collective is just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Because of their musical contribution into the sound and and the music and
for sure, like we grew up together in a lot of ways. Well, I mean, someone that I actually literally grew up with was a guy called Dylan Fine, Cape Town jazz guitarist, amazing player. And then when I moved to Joburg, which now is 9 years ago, Godfrey and Josh were two of the first people I played with. Literally, I think on my first day, I just arrived and we went straight into playing a class prac at Wits or whatever. So from there, we've basically been together ever since, I suppose. It's obviously like it's a special kind of relationship in that way. It's lovely, like when we get to play with other guys like Offense Sabula and Tebogo Koperi, we play with a lot. Basically we get a bunch of different people rotating through the band. So that it's really lovely to play with new people as well, but largely speaking, it's kind of the four of us or five of us that make up this kind of collective. I suppose.
Yeah.
It started with a lot more. To be fair, we were a big band initially.
No, but I mean, a lot of bands do transform, and like in is it an amoeba that changes shape?
Exactly.
And, depending on what the body they are in.
What's required? Yeah, exactly.
A lot of musicians, are always in search of their own sound. Kind of thing. You've got this album out called. Is it The Line or
it's called Lines?
Lines,
like
lines.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Not the line.
No
Lines meaning.
It's kind of a couple of things, I suppose. Bass lines, directly.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Like lines of thoughts, lineage, as well was part of the idea. Because it was a reflection on a lineage, and how this sound developed. You kind of describe it as the fusiony side of South African jazz, I suppose. Between Afrofusion and whatever Carlo does, we're not allowed to say what his genre is.
No.
Because I don't think it's possible, to be fair.
There's no word in the dictionary that is able to describe what Carlo Mbeli does.
I wanted just to reflect on that and for my own kind of development in a lot of ways as well, just to understand as best I can where a lot of the music that I love comes from.
Yeah. So with my freaks of finding one's voice.
Yes.
Does lines then become an indication of Angus Hardcastle having found his and now is sharing
I think
it on lines?
I hope so to some extent. I think maybe I would like to think that it's the process rather than having found.
Yeah.
It's a continuation.
We're always searching. Everyone is always searching. If you've arrived, well, lucky for you.
Yes, yeah. Then what are you still doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to think. Yeah, I think that's definitely the way I think of it. It's just a part of the process, and the album itself is also fairly it's a mixed bag. Like it's very much between genres, and it's not a complete offering in a commercial sense. If you know what I mean. It's not made for that, really.
And what I've noticed about the album as well is that a lot of it is paying tribute to a lot of bass musicians.
Fairly directly.
Very directly.
Yeah.
And for instance, even with the Carlo tribute.
Yes.
I mean, even as it starts, I'm like, is that Carlo?
Yes, yeah.
You know?
He's in there. Yeah.
Even the Sipho Gumede one, you know, even though you can't tell immediately, you know, but I also just think it's really such a beautiful way to still capture the sound and acknowledge these people who have contributed quite a lot to the South African music, spectrum, you know,
yeah.
and but these are your compositions, paying tribute to these people.
Yes.
So, how then did you, in your composing or compositions,
Yes,
then say, I'm putting an Angus Hardcastle into what I know and believe to be a Sipho Gumede sound,
yeah,
you know,
character
and character kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean,
I don't know if my question makes sense. But
No, I think I'll try to answer, and then you can let me know if I got it. I would look at kind of parts of how they structured what they did. Mainly, what I was interested in was the kind of character of their sound, and that's not really something you can replicate in a lot of ways. Because
You're right. Yeah.
it's my fingers doing the playing, you know, and like your physical body is completely different, so you can't really, yeah. But certainly, I try to take a lot of their ideas, melodic and rhythmic and even structural to some extent, and apply them to my own sound, roughly, you know. And then to some extent, it was about representing the era of which I was looking at. Like with Sipho, I wasn't really thinking, like, you know, about his later albums. I was more thinking about his playing in his early days with Sakile, and that was like kind of specifically where that came from. But yeah, to be honest, I never really intended to release an album as myself. I've always been a lot more comfortable hiding behind a band or being with other musicians. And, you know, inevitably being a jazz musician is about collaborating. And even if you write all the music, you're still, the band you're nothing without the rest of the group. So yeah, this is a big jump for me and made me feel a little bit uncomfortable for sure.
A little exposed and vulnerable.
Quite so. I
can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't come naturally to me.
When are you gonna come out of the closet? No, but I guess it's not a bad way to venture out.
Yeah.
You know, and also just get a feel of are they? But listen, I am hearing Angus anyway in that music. As much as some of it is I'm trying to find the track listing here, because I also want to get into into some of these tracks. Okay. But I'm hearing Angus, and like I say, you know, when I was listening to music, I'm liking your groove, you know, on the electric, and you know, and how I need the bass to go somewhere in there. And so I can feel it, and I feel that.
Oh, I'm glad.
And I don't know whether it's a me thing or a South African thing. What do you think? How have you assessed how we receive the bass sound in this country?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm super biased though, so we gotta prefix that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's disproportionately important. But that again, extremely biased. But I think that a lot of South African jazz, because of the way it grooves, either depending on the genre, the particular style, but behind and ahead of the beat, the way it sits, the bass really holds that together in a more fundamental way, and you can kind of track it going back to choral music, mbube, and going like probably even further. And a lot of the bass voices and the way those kind of lines sit. There you go, lines.
Yeah, there. The lines are there.
Exactly. Yeah, there's. I guess what I'd say is like our music is incredibly melodically complex a lot of the time, but what makes us move is the groove. And I think, at least I think that bass plays a larger role in that than maybe a lot of other musics. But again, it's also it's not even just genre specific; it's also groove specific.
Yeah,
like there's a big difference between a 4/4 and a 6/8 groove in South African jazz, and then also But yeah, I think we've got some of the best bass lines ever as well. So
and what I also like about lines is that we mentioned earlier how the bass might sit in the background and just hold everything together. I like that the bass holds the melody in some of the tracks as well.
Yes,
in your album.
Yeah, that was very much
intentional.
Oh yeah, it was. Okay. It came directly from Sibukumed and Bakiti and a lot of their songs do and Carlo, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, like a lot of them do that fairly directly. I think, at least for me, I've always wanted to play the bass in a way that made it a bit more of like I've always wanted to compete with the horns. has been my kind of main goal. Like I've developed a lot of kind of little techniques to try and get more sustain out of notes and like try to and then be as then also be able to play as melodically and dynamically as a horn player. Haven't got there yet, but one day maybe. I think there's just certain advantages, but I think that's a good positioning because half the time we also just take the bass for granted. For sure.
Like, okay, it's there holding the groove.
Yeah.
So that these guys don't lose.
Yeah.
Their place. But I love it when a bass guitarist says, "Listen, I got something to say too, guys.
Yeah. Listen to me.
listen to me." And you've done that very well on this album.
Oh, thank you.
You have certainly done that very well. So you, yes, there's Kopano Collective, and now there's Lines, the album. But there's Angus Hardcastle, the person outside, being known just as a bass player. Where does Angus hang out when he's not on stage?
Oh, that's just, yeah.
And why?
I suppose, I think, I mean, this is a bit of a, anyway. I used to only hang out with musicians, and then after a little while, I realized I was becoming a bit dull to chat to about anything other than music. So I tried to get friends outside of music and have at least a life, But my girlfriend, or long-term partner, basically, she's a chef. So we host a lot at our house, have like dinners and cook a lot of food.
Can I come?
Of course. That would be amazing.
I love food.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's I guess a hobby, I suppose.
Yeah,
one
but
of them.
and I'm really asking that because I just also just think that a lot of people just don't know that musicians are more than what instrument they play or what
Yeah.
music they make. They are
For
also
sure.
just full human beings with other interests, other
Yeah.
passions. So this is what I'm trying to find out from you. If for instance, if you were not, in music,
Yeah.
what would you be doing?
That's a funny question. I suppose like music, it does, because it's so competitive. I mean, not that it is a competition, but it is competitive in the sense that there's a lot of people trying to do it. It can become very quickly all encompassing. And I think in order to do it, you have to be fairly obsessive, and a bit weird, in a way. But it's, if you are just that and only focus on music, then you become a poorer musician for it. I think you need to integrate other interests into your life. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, like I love a bit of history. I love a bit of cooking as well. I play tennis and try to stay active and do that kind of thing. But really, it's about the kind of, for me, the interest or the stimulation, or rather the dynamism or what makes me, I think, hopefully, a better musician, is having people in my life that check me and keep me on a at least, yeah, on some kind of trajectory of not being entirely single-minded. Yeah.
And also, if you have people who do completely different things in their
Exactly.
life,
Yeah.
they expose you to, interesting, exciting, and fresh
Yeah.
outlook towards certain things, which might incidentally inspire you in your creativity, because
Exactly. Yeah.
which comes back to my question again.
Yeah.
I know in this album, there's a lot of tributes, to and acknowledgement to bass players. But do you also, maybe there are compositions that you have that are not in the album? I'm
Yeah.
sure they are.
Yeah.
Hundreds of them. And it's just what kind of things do you think about that either societal or world related, or even personal or family related things
Yeah.
that make you think and want to write about or
Yeah.
compose music and
Yeah, I think for me, I try not to be too overtly political with a lot of what I do musically. Like by overt, I mean like direct, I suppose.
I mean, everything is political.
It's political anyway, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
whether you are drinking water, it's political.
No,
'Cause
absolutely.
there is water.
Yeah.
Whether there is, you
No
have
matter what, it
electricity.
is there.
Exactly. Whether you have a means of transport, everything is political.
Exactly.
But like you say, not directly as in, but it's. I'm just thinking of really what are they?
What inspires?
Yeah, what inspires? Maybe philosophically, you're more interested in how people relate as humans.
Absolutely.
Things
I think-
like that.
I think that is what music kind of is. Really, is this connecting people.
Yeah.
And it is a language, and we are kind of talking through it, I suppose. And yeah, I guess what I was going to go on to say is those kinds of trials and tribulations, or the real I guess grit of the world is what inspires me. I mean, like I'm happy to say that I'm a pretty like ardent leftist or communist, and that is my political opinion. I just suppose, like, I know I'm not an expert on those things, even though it's a deep interest. So I try not to represent those ideas poorly. Is kind of the concern, or that's the reason why I try not to be too overtly political. Is because I'm concerned I'm gonna misrepresent things that I really believe in and find important. So I guess you can see in the album there's this subtext of we need to value culture, we need to value what it was oppressed, what and this fairly direct research was my kind of way of doing that in a way that was not. It was just trying to fix something. That I hope is just good, and not me trying to like put too much of myself into that. It's really the album is that, I suppose, is my interpretation. But the research itself is just, here is what happened, and trying to report on that in as best a way I can. And obviously there's bias, and there's my voice comes through. But yeah, those beliefs of really trying to correct some of the injustices of the past and present, very much present, and then trying to do that in a way that is good, I suppose, and not more damaging than it is helpful.
Yeah,
is a big motivation.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose the main motivation.
Jazz is known to be an art form that is so much based on collaboration.
Yes.
And also on, and just that collaboration and improvisation, those just two phrases are always tied to jazz music.
Yeah.
In your observation,
yes,
have you found that jazz musicians and appreciators of jazz or jazz adopt that philosophy into their lives?
Ooh, I wonder. That's a great question. It's not necessarily. No, you get some pretty strangely introverted people in our field.
And nasty people.
What? And nasty. Yep. Oh yeah. No, for sure. And that is a funny kind of irony, I suppose. that often, not often, but a good portion of the time, for sure. Some people can be quite tainted or selfish. Actually, jazz musicians can be quite selfish. And I'm generalizing here. It's great to a ridiculous extent, but
it's just the extremes.
I think artists, I suppose, in general, can be quite self-indulgent. You kind of, I don't know if you have to, but there's a level of like, you need to do the work on yourself and really think about who and how you are in order to get to the point where you can produce something for other people to look at. But I think you can get really caught in that cycle of being very self-indulged. That's a really wonderful question, and I'll have to think about it more to give it a proper answer, but I'm just thinking about it now, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's just something that's just I've always thought about, because when I'm thinking now in terms of when you're on stage and you're performing with all these musicians, and there's this collaborative, we get the impression that these are just
kind, and
these are just what a wonderful group of people who are just so lovely to each other. They give each other turns to express themselves with love, and at the end they are all hugging and bowing together. And when the kettle falls down, I don't know what happened.
No, for sure.
Kind of thing. So, because it makes us feel that way, because watching what happens, the dynamics on stage and with the music, that we get the impression that these people are like that in real life.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah.
I suppose for me, I do see it on stage and feel it on stage. Occasionally when someone's like maybe we're playing a song or a genre that doesn't require extensive reharmonization or extensive kind of licks and playing and whatever. And maybe there's someone in the band who's basically being a bit selfish and kind of going for it on this song that doesn't require that, and actually specifically wants you not to do that. Wants you to just hold back. And I think when you are younger, or still, I suppose for me, occasionally I can definitely lose myself in trying to do something rather than thinking about the music, and being selfless in that way, or in that moment. And having I think it certainly comes through in the music. You can hear like some players are a bit more selfish. Like often when they create those super bands.
Yeah.
And like it's, I don't know, Chick Corea and whatever, and like you hear, like you're so excited to hear all the amazing musicians play together, and then you listen to the album and you're like, oh oh no, that's a bit hectic. Everyone's trying to like play over each other. It does happen.
It does happen. Yes.
So I think that's why it is really beautiful when you find people you can play with where you know each other well enough that, okay, he needs time to do his thing now, and then like there's
and sometimes when we watch you guys perform, we can see with the body languages and the eye
you can see when someone's pissed.
eye contact as to who thinks stop doing that, or who says, hey, keep going. We can read the language as well.
It's all there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
You've I know we're talking about jazz, but you're quite you've played other genres of music. I mean, you've also led bands on TV shows.
Yeah.
I think it was was it a talk show, or what was it?
It was kind of it was like almost like a John Oliver mixed with a Stephen Colbert vibe. I guess we were the Stephen
the band in the show. Do you enjoy those little ventures of doing other things?
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely. Like you talked about earlier, when music can be funny or silly, or when music can be, even play. Like I do enjoy playing hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
A lot. I love doing that. And then house is also really fun to play.
And you do collaborate with all these other musicians who are not in the jazz genre anyway.
Yeah, I think that's really where, you can have a lot of fun. Basically,
yeah.
It's like I think for me, jazz is where I can be very serious and really explore ideas and a lot of my own ideas and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like kind of MDing and playing bass for other artists can also just be really wonderful and really, bring a lot out in me that I didn't know was there often.
And even, in fact, that MD role, music director, is it a difficult role to have? Or is it depending on the temperaments of the people you're working with?
Yeah. Depending on the gig. It's a funny role, yeah. Because sometimes your responsibilities are fairly minimal. And sometimes they're pretty expansive. And it can mean quite a lot.
Yeah.
And often you're not getting paid enough for
the work, the kind of work you do.
Yeah, well, depending on but yeah, I mean, you get the blame for a lot of problems when you take on that responsibility. Okay. But then, and I don't think you get that much credit, to be fair, when things go right either. But I think for me, what I like being is involved and like on top of everything. And that if I'm just sitting back and playing, like that can be nice too. That's like a bit of it's relaxing, I suppose.
You just like being busy.
Yeah, I do quite like being busy. I like.
Listen,
exactly.
Congratulations on the Lines.
Thank you so much.
Album. It's available on all platforms yet?
Quite so.
Okay,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think absolutely everything.
Are you performing the music on this album
anytime soon? I think I might be doing something soon, but I can't say.
Okay.
But But other than that, the best place to catch me is at Syntax every Thursday.
Syntax is where, for those who don't know?
In Rosebank.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it looks like we're going to be at Josie My Josie, the street festival, with Kopano as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the easiest jazz gigs. But I'll be announcing, I'm sure, something very soon to perform my music again. And I'll probably be going to Cape Town. Yeah. And I shouldn't be saying this. But
no, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
beforehand.
We're closing it up, but I want to ask you one answer. One word answers to a question.
Okay, easy.
What's the last song you listened to before when you're on your way here? Or
Unrequited by Brad Meldau.
Ooh.
I love that song. Yeah.
Okay. And in your dream of dreams, if you were to collaborate with a musician, who would that be?
Oh, that's crazy. Oh no. Maybe. Oh no. Either Brian Blade, because I just love to play with Brian Blade.
Okay.
Or Abdullah, maybe. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, that's a tough question.
He's coming to the Cape Town Jazz, so you know.
No, I don't know. I don't think he'll be booking me though.
Hey, you know what? You never know.
You never know.
You never know, Angus. So, when you are at your most peaceful, and you are, just appreciating the fact that you're breathing, there's life in you, and you can do these things that you love. Where is that space?
Ooh,
where are you? Are you sitting under a tree, or are you in a bath?
On stage.
Or are you driving? Or okay,
just straight up on stage. Yeah,
on stage.
Yeah. And sometimes when I'm on my own and playing and practicing and stuff, but for me, it's about the connect. As we were saying, it's about the connection.
It's about connection. Okay.
Yeah. Others.
What's the worst thing that can happen to your instrument? Your bass guitar.
Oh, physically?
Yes.
Like actually the instrument itself?
The bass.
Oof. I suppose like if the neck breaks, it'll never be the same. But on a gig, if the internals, the electronics break, then I can't fix that on the gig.
Yeah.
I suppose I wouldn't be able to fix a broken neck either. But So the worst thing would be if the neck breaks, because it'll never really feel the same.
How many do you have?
Basses?
Yes.
5? I think 5.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my...
Are they all sounding different?
Oh, very. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get my fretless playing up now. I've been practicing for the past year or two.
Okay.
So you might catch me playing fretless on a gig relatively soon. For me, I've kind of got... just different sounds, basically. And then on the album, you hear what's called a tenor bass, which is just the top 4 strings of a 6 string.
Yeah.
Like on Carlo's song and on... Ooh, why am I blanking? But yeah, on Carlo's song and another song. Big Line. That's like a higher pitched bass. So that's also... So I've got a fretless and then 2 normal basses. Anyway, yeah.
And you'd like to have a whole room full of bass.
Oh yeah, no, I think we're on a steady trajectory towards some pretty massive storage
Massive
space.
stories.
Yeah,
Angus, it's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
And I'm also just getting to know and understand a lot more, not just about you as a person, but the instruments that you're passionate about and the music that you are as well. And I'm sure our listeners and viewers are the better having heard this conversation.
Hopefully I haven't said anything I don't mean.
No, we like genuineness and honesty and just openness here on this show. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Yeah.
Jazz and Beyond on 702 and CapeTalk with Angus Hardcastle.
Come for the jazz and stay for the good times.
On Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba Madumo.
On 702 and Cape Talk.